there for people who can program properly, for people who can think logically, and for people who can bring some creative thought into it. So to talk about that for our keynote, please give a warm round of applause to Mona Akmal.
Thank you. Hi, guys. Oh, it works. It magically starts working when you get up here. Hi, I'm Mona, and it was so lovely to see the video of the hexagons being drawn. I remember being in our little Seattle office, actually discussing whether that puzzle was too hard or too easy for kids that are around 7 or 8 years of age. And we also heard about the Irish Prime Minister doing the Hour of Code last year, and we have a gong at the code.org office, and anything that's noteworthy, we ring the gong for, and the entire team claps. So we had a little gong for the Irish Prime Minister doing the Hour of Code. So I'm here to talk about creativity in computer science. And as I was thinking about what I wanted to say, I really started thinking about what creativity really means. And my perspective on creativity has evolved in the last 25 years. 25 years ago, I was 10. And really had a very straight and narrow definition of creativity. You pick up a pencil and you draw something, or you create music. And those were really my creative outlets at age 10. And I remember, when my mom wanted to get rid of me for the weekend, she would send me to my best friend's house, and she and I would just spend the entire night drawing doodles. And that was my work, and that was her work. And it's nice to still be able to see what creativity looked like when I was 10 years old. What happened then was, at age 12, my dad died, and that's a bit of a creative buzzkill. And I had to have a little moment of honesty with myself about whether I could pursue my creative expression through art as a profession. Did that feel ecological or not? And it didn't, because I had to become financially responsible very early on in life. So, I made a decision to pursue computer science through undergrad, and it really felt like a loss, because I had the same exact sort of perspective that computer science is for nerds, and I'm giving up on my creative soul in order to go make money. And it felt terrible, but I did it. And then and this is, years of struggle, age 16, very inspired by Kurt Cobain. Then I went to my first computer science class, CS 101, and first week's assignment was create your own web page using HTML. And that just changed my view on what computer science was all about. This was my first web page. I used every tag I could find. There were flames everywhere. There was blinking text. I put cheesy poetry. And of course, my hero, Kurt Cobain, was all over my webpage. And what's important about that is within one class, I was experiencing that computer science is really just another form of creative expression. It's a tool, just like a pencil, right? My creative expressions through computer science have evolved a little bit since my first webpage. Now I do this for a living. My team builds tutorials that help teach computer science, and our claim is ages 4 through 104. This was an interesting partnership last year when we were thinking about the Hour of Code. We reached out to Disney because we were very interested in bringing girls to computer science. And who better than Elsa and Anna to introduce computer science to girls? It was an amazing process working with them. A bunch of highly creative and also highly technical people created Anna and Elsa. I remember when I went to Disney, they gave me this 500-page memo and said, when you're done reading this, let's talk about Elsa and Anna in computer science. And that was actually the psychology of Elsa and Anna and how they relate to each other as sisters. But these are also the people that did the graphics and the animations, and that's all computer science in action. My mom, this was a very important picture for me because, you know, when I left Amazon and before that I worked at Microsoft, my mom she finally thought, you know, midlife crisis has hit early because she's going off, she's going to destroy her career to work at this little thing called code.org. But when the president did the Hour of Code last year, I sent this picture to my mom and she finally thinks I'm doing a job that's worthwhile. And, you know, it was actually really a proud moment for all of us, not just because, you know, an important person tried it, but because generally by the time the Irish Prime Minister or the US President is doing something, it has gained enough momentum, it has become important enough, it has become an issue for the public, and that's really what we're celebrating here. The Hour of Code, Ireland has been an amazing partner. When I joined code.org, we were at 20 million. We're now at 117 million students that have done the Hour of Code. And it's not a local phenomenon to the US, it's global, which is a huge point of pride for us. And, you know, we actually see every drawing that children create using the Hour of Code that they choose to save. We get to see all of them in a gallery. So we get to see this sort of creative landscape being created through the Hour of Code. And it's just wonderful. That brings me really, through my life experience, I can say confidently that the myth that existed in my mind about what computer science is really, really changed, and it changed very fast. But coming to you know, more general public perception of what computer science is, I'd like your help on maybe identifying what you think the two myths that these two gentlemen represent are about computer science. Any ideas? Male, good. What else? I don't think I'm allowed to say anything to that. What else? White, excellent. Exactly. So we all think computer science is white, it's male, and I would say it's for people that are exceptionally smart, that have an IQ of 140 and higher. It's for guys, and it's for geniuses. I don't put white there, even though it's pretty obvious, because that, you know, I think crosses the line. But it's amazing that every single time I ask this question, someone says white, and that's true. This is the myth dispeller. This is really the new face of computer science. Everyone from me, that's me up there, age 4, to the president, to Ashton Kutcher, to, you know, students. We get pictures from teachers and parents every single day, and they all look so different. Age, color, size, but that passion for creating through computer science is pretty universal across the board. Myths 3 and 4. So these images and pictures represent what these two myths are. Any ideas? Right. So, and that actually, I think one of the myths carries over in the title of this keynote, actually, that computer science is about coding. And that computer science is about the technology industry. And that couldn't honestly be farther from the truth, because here's what computer science is actually about. I happen to know the gentleman that designed Gollum. Incredibly creative person, and also a gifted computer scientist. Not just a coder, but a computer scientist. we just hired the person that was on point for coming up with Hololens, this is actually a practical use case of Microsoft Hololens, where your dad is telling you how to fix a plumbing issue in the bathroom, and you have this sort of augmented reality tutorial that you're getting from your dad. But augmented reality, 50 years ago, it was stuff that you only read in sci-fi books, and now it's actually real. And, I've met scientists that tell me, they're using computer science to simulate models to help them understand why birds fly in this pattern, right? Why not this? Why not no pattern? That's all applications of computer science. And here are 3 other examples that I thought were really interesting. They're not necessarily considered these creative things, because, designing Gollum and Anna and Elsa feels like, okay, I can understand why that's creativity. But for somebody to say, hey, this cab dispatching system of yours standing there trying to hail a cab is just broken. There's an inefficiency in the system, and it's ready for disruption. Let's create Uber. The ultimate cab dispatching service. They did an announcement that mentioned that in San Francisco, Uber cars now represent a larger percentage of public transportation than the entire cab system put together. And this is a company that didn't exist 5 years ago. The person that designed Nest, have people heard of Nest? It's this amazing home management system. It started as a beautiful thermostat, and now it's doing all kinds of home management things like alarm systems. You're able to program it right from an app on your phone. And then, this is an interesting one. Okay, Cupid. Has anyone used online dating here? Has anyone used it who's willing to confess? No. Okay. Think, yay, I saw a hand, one hand. Think about that. Matchmaking, finding love is not necessarily something you associate with computer science, and yet 1/3 of relationships are now happening online. When you think of a matchmaker, you don't think of code and algorithms and a geek sitting in a basement writing up stuff. You think of love, right? But what powers that is really that language to be able to train your computers to do that job for you. And that's what computer science is. So, and this is, one interesting fact that I wanted to share. Larry Corey, have people heard of Fred Hutch? It's a leading institute for cancer research and has some incredibly promising work on the cure for different types of cancers. And, I love sharing this fact that 67% of jobs that are computer science related are actually not in the industry that is conventionally perceived of as the tech industry. Many of these jobs are in traditionally creative organizations like marketing, advertising. Advertising, for instance, is an interesting one where it has traditionally had this face of ultra creative people, but so much of advertising today is about search engine optimization, which is very much a computer science problem to solve. So, I have a thought experiment for you, and I will close with that tonight, which is forget about computer science, forget about coding, forget about algorithms. Tonight, if you can spare 10 minutes, write down a problem that you would like to fix. It could be a problem that you struggle with every single day, something that you do and wonder, why am I doing this over and over again? Think about a problem like that might exist in your life or exist in the lives of people around you. Then try to see what could be a creative way to solve it. What could you provide as a solution that would address that problem? And then do a thought experiment on whether technology can or can't help you. You'd be surprised at how often you will rely on things like, oh, if there was an app on a phone that did this, da 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 da. And I would love to see how many of you come up with an idea that you think can be solved in part with technology. And that's my talk for today.
Thank you so